guys, welcome back to the Style and Beauty Doctor on YouTube. Today's video is going to be all about eye makeup. So everything you need to do to slay your eye makeup every single time you do your eyes. You guys requested this video, so make sure you sit back, grab a pen and paper, relax, take some notes, and stay tuned. Probably the most important thing that you need to get down when it comes to your eye makeup is understanding your eye shape and knowing what certain color placement and certain finishes and things like that can do for your eyes. And here's a little secret. Once you figure out the right placement for your eye shape, you can just keep doing it over and over again and changing the colors out. So there's no need to learn 50 million different eyeshadow techniques if you find something that works perfectly for your eye shape. So let's take a look at the different eye shapes and where to place your eyeshadow. So we're gonna go over some placement and techniques for various eye shapes. So almond is said to be the most common of the eye shapes, but if you have a different eye shape, that doesn't mean that you're uncommon, it's just that you have a different eye shape. Now don't get caught up in thinking that one eye shape is better than the other. It just means that you need to know which techniques to use for your eye shape. And as you go through these, make sure you study the shape of the eye, where eyeshadow placement should be, certain things that you need to watch out for. So for instance, for the monolid or the hooded eye, sometimes you might have to create a crease with your eyeshadow technique. Now these next few slides aren't eye shapes per se. You can have any eye shape and also have deep set eyes or wide set eyes, close set eyes. But pay attention to the tips that are given for each one because there are certain techniques that you want to try out and certain ones you may want to avoid for these eye placements. So if you need to rewind, go back, pause, stop the video, and study more for your eye shape or eye placement, feel free to do so. Now one thing to note about the different eye shapes and eye placements are what certain kinds of colors and finishes in eye makeup can do for your eyes. So make sure you study this chart and understand where, if you're in darker color, what it might do for your eye shape, if you place a lighter color, and so on and so forth. Now let's move on to the actual technique. So my eyes are more of an almond shape, so don't forget you're gonna have to tweak things a bit for your particular eye shape. So if the eyes are the windows of the soul, then the brows are the curtains, honey. So your brows are super important to your eye makeup look because they frame your face, they frame your eyes, and when done right, your brows can make you look youthful and alert. Now I have a full video dedicated to how to fill in your brows, so make sure you check that out if you want some more information. Now look how that brow came together already. You can see the difference between when I started and how I'm progressing now. Now I like to work in layers when it comes to my brows because it's so much easier to add than it is to take away. Because if you make a mistake and you get a little heavy-handed and you need to start all over, I mean, who has time for that? So I like to layer so that way I can just keep adding if I need to and stop if I need to stop. And brows are done. Again, look at the difference that made from the beginning. Wow, brow. Now, if you want your eyeshadow to last all day without fading or creasing, you need some sort of primer or base. Now, I've been using the Urban Decay Primer Potion as well as the Lorac primer for years, but there's a gazillion of them out there. You can even check on the blog to see some reviews for some that I've done, and there'll be a link to that in the description box. So if you have darker skin like me, I usually start with a base shadow, but before we get into that, let's talk quickly about makeup brushes. Now let's talk some quick makeup brush basics. So you can have either synthetic or natural bristles, as is displayed here on this chart. Some of the things you want to look at when it comes to makeup brushes: the size and the shape of the brush head, and how densely packed or sparse the bristles are. Now the size and shape of the brush head is going to coincide with your eye shape, the area of your eye you're using the product, and what look you're going for. When the bristles are more densely packed, you're going to pick up more product and get a more concentrated application. And when the bristles are sparse, you're going to get less of the product and a more sheer application. Now I have all MAC brushes pictured here, and that's just because I went to Nordstrom.com. They were the ones that had nothing in the background. It was easy for me to create the chart with. And while I do like a lot of MAC brushes, and some that I've bought years ago are still in very good condition, there are also a lot of brands that make really amazing brushes as well. So make sure you check out the description box for some reviews on other brand brushes that I've done on the blog. Now, should you splurge or steal when it comes to makeup brushes? Well, that depends on what you're looking for the brushes to do, as I have pictured here. I personally spend a little bit more on brushes that I use more often because I want those to stand the test of time, so I'll splurge a little bit more. If I know a brush is only going to be used once in a while for a special occasion, then I'll go for the steal. If you're just starting out with makeup, you may have no clue whatsoever which brushes you'll be using most often, so I say in that instance to go for the steal. Usually you can get a set of brushes very inexpensively from a lot of brands. So if you have darker skin like me, or if you have lighter skin and have darker eyelids, a base eyeshadow may be beneficial to you because it helps to make your other colors stand out a little bit more by giving it a base to hold on to. The darkness in our eyelids can tend to absorb colors, which makes them not stand out that much. So by applying a base shadow, you allow the colors to stand out more. Here I'm using a matte base shadow. This one is MAC Teta Tint. I don't know if MAC makes it anymore, but a matte base shadow will work just as fine. Here I'm using the MAC 217 brush, but you can use something that has densely packed bristles and that's a little fluffy so that we get a concentrated, controlled application and blend at the same time. Now, a crease transition is not a necessary step for every eye makeup look, and then for even some eye shapes you may not even need to use this. I like this because it gives the kind of look like when the sun sets and there's all these beautiful transitions of color in the sky. This is a similar effect. I'm using the MAC 222 brush, but you can use any brush that fits into your crease, something usually that's more narrow in shape. So I want my eyes to stand out, I'm going to define my crease. And again, depending on your eye shape, you may not need to do that. If you have a monolid, this is a step you might do to create a crease in your eye. So here I'm just using the MAC 242 flat brush. And I'm kind of like, as you can see here, I'm kind of carving my crease, and the darker color allows it to stand back or recede so that you can see the lighter color kind of pops out a little bit more. So I'm creating dimension and shape here with my eyes using eyeshadows and techniques. Eyes blending is super important when it comes to your eye makeup. You don't want any harsh lines, you don't want any harsh shapes, you want everything to be smooth and blended as if they were meant to be together. So here I'm using the MAC 286 brush, but basically you want something where the bristles are more sparsely packed, so that it gives you that nice smooth transition so you're not muddying the colors together. See, you can see how that's coming together. All the different transitions from when I only had my brows to when I had absolutely nothing on. So we're coming right along. So now I'm going to add an accent, and this is going to be a shimmery color. So I'm applying that. This is just the eyeshadow brush that comes with the Anastasia palettes. I don't even think it has a name or anything like that. And I'm applying that and then using again that MAC 286 brush to blend it out because again, we want seamless, we don't want harsh lines or shapes. My eyes can be a little on the prominent side, so I'm going to use some liner to line them. This is the Urban Decay 24/7 pencil in Perversion. It's a black. My bad for getting out of frame, but otherwise I would not be able to see what I was doing and put my makeup on properly. If you make a mistake with your liner, don't worry, we can fix that later. Now for my eye shape, I lined the top and bottom of my waterlines, but if you have either wide set eyes, close set eyes, protruding eyes, downtruding eyes, you want to make sure you refer back to the video where I had the notes on where your placement should go, because sometimes you can wind up making your eyes either look even more wide set, even more close set. So make sure you pay attention to that. I'm going to add some mascara on the top and bottom. And again, make sure you check out the notes on the different eye placements, wide set, prominent, deep set, and close set eyes to make sure you know where to put where and what to avoid. So if you make a mistake with your mascara or your liner, hey, it happens to the best of us, don't worry, because there's an easy way to erase that. If you get a little mascara on your eyelid messing up your eye makeup, no worries, just blend it out. Let it dry and blend it out. For liner mistakes, just get a wet Q-tip and erase it, and then dry that up with the dry end of the Q-tip. I'm sorry, for some reason the footage of that is missing from this video. I'll also take a look at my makeup and decide if I need to blend again, and if I do, I'll blend again. So here's what we're looking like so far. Looks good, but I like to add a little bit more because I like a lot more definition. So I'm going to define underneath my brow bone. I'm using the Bobbi Brown Creamy Concealer in Almond, which is about a shade and a half lighter than my skin tone, and I'm using the Shunta Sheriff Perfect Blend brush to apply that, and the Beauty Blender to blend it out. Again, no harsh lines, even in the brow bone, no harsh lines. And here's what we have so far. I personally prefer not to have anything frosty on my brow bone because of the way light reflects, but if you want to go for it, go ahead, girl. So I'm highlighting and going to contour. Here to highlight, I'm using Bobbi Brown Creamy Concealer in Golden. I'm speeding this part up because I have a bunch of videos on highlighting and contouring, so make sure you check out my past videos to look at that. But this is just another step for me to further define and make my features pop. Again, this is totally not necessary. If you don't want to highlight and contour, you don't have to. I'm just showing you what I normally do to make sure that I have definition in my face. Lashes are also optional. I like them because they really make my eyes stand out. I am using the Danessa Myricks Elevation Lashes Lash Glue, which I love because, as you can see, I applied it like it was a liquid liner. Not all eyelash glues can do that, so make sure you read the instructions to make sure. I also have a video on how to apply lashes if you want more information, but I prefer to look down in a mirror, and then I try to get the band of the lash. There's a little groove where your eyelid and your eyelash hairs meet. There's a little groove right there, so you want to get the band of the lash right into that groove there, and then you want to make sure that the fake lashes blend in with your regular lashes. Now, I usually do that with a lash curler, but I forgot to bring it with me to film, so I'm kind of just pressing down with my fingers to get the lashes to blend together. And here's what we have so far. Now, mind you, my highlight and contour is not blended out yet. I'm still kind of baking. But you can see the variation between from when we started in the beginning to where we are now. So this is after I let it bake for a little bit. I probably would have let it bake a little bit more. And I added my lip color, which is Anastasia Sepia Lip Gloss and Lorac Free Spirit Lip Gloss on top. So that's how you nail your eye makeup every single time. Now remember, practice makes perfect, so you want to keep putting in practice. The best time to do so is at night before you wash your face, because you know you can try a gazillion things, no one has to see it, and you get ready to wash your face anyway, so you make a mistake, you can just wash it off. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. Leave me a comment. What are some of your favorite eye makeup products? Leave me a comment below with that. And let's keep the party going. Make sure you follow me on social via the links in the description box. And speaking of the description box, make sure you check it out because there's going to be some really pertinent information in there for some blog posts that you need to check out. For instance, I've reviewed a ton of eyeshadows over the years. So if you want to see some eyeshadow recommendations, make sure you check that out. There's swatches on dark skin. There's even a post on the best neutral eyeshadow palettes for dark skin. So make sure you check that out. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys. For more fashion and beauty tips, check out thestyleandbeautydoctor.com.